Man, I'm running on empty right now, and I want to go meet with God. And that sounds like way more spiritual than it actually is. There's a place I go to, and where it's out in the middle of nowhere, and I can just be in nature. I put on my super awesome hat. What do you think of this? I asked Lisa, what do you think of my hat? And she's like, eh. So, in fact, I still have people coming up to me like, hey, when are we going to do something about the facial? So, I am going there, and it reminds me of the story that we're looking at, God for Normal People, week 3. We are reading the story in Exodus 3 about a theophany. A theophany in the Old Testament comes from two Greek words, theos, which means God, and phanos, which means to appear. And so there are, throughout the Old Testament books, there are times where God appears to his people. And he'll do it in a non-direct way. And so in Exodus chapter 3, the theophany is that there is a bush that doesn't burn up. And so what I want to do is I want you to share in your group the story of how you met God. All right? And I understand, like, some of you are not even Christians that are in this group, and that's fine. And up to this point, where has God, what was the moment when God made himself real to you? And that's what I want you to discuss today in your group. So we're going to get into the text. There are some key points I want you to notice about the text. First is God reveals his name for the very first time. You're also going to notice that in order to do that, Moses had to leave Egypt. And there was this implicit idea that each god had its own territory, right? We talked a little bit about that last week. And so the story, the larger narrative that you're looking at is God is marshaling for war. Moses goes and he meets God on the run as someone who is wanted and for murder. And he meets God, which is essentially how we all meet God, right? We're far from God, and we've done things that we're ashamed of, and we've tried to lead our lives on our own, and it doesn't work. So we meet God at a place, and then what he does is he sends us back to go and lead out of oppression the very people that we were among. And so we've been talking about how this series, this controlling idea, to use literary language, to sort of express what's going on in the series, we've been talking about how we're all under oppression. And the story of Moses is our story. And oftentimes we don't realize that we are actually in slavery to something until we hold up the mirror to ourselves. And so we've been talking about what are the things that have us oppressed. What happens in Exodus chapter 3 is the great switch. The person that is oppressed then becomes the liberator. And so not only do I want you to share how and when you met God, I want you to share then why you think in the larger story you have gone through the things that you have gone through. So Moses went through all of the things that he went through and poised him to become the leader of God's people. All of the oppression that he went through, ducking a genocide, rising in ranks in Egypt, that sort of thing. So the question for you is, why in the larger story of your life do you think that you experienced that thing, right? That relationship, that hurt, that pain, that addiction, that view of yourself or the world. If God then is meeting you at wherever this new place is that you're going to meet God, and you're going to have an encounter with God, and he's going to send you back to help the oppressed like Moses. Who are you to help? So here's what I want you to think of. Pain always provides direction. If you're always trying to figure out, what am I supposed to do in life and how am I supposed to help people, your pain provides the direction. Your pain is the navigating device. So whatever you have gone through points to the people that you were supposed to help. God allows you to go through things so that you can go back and provide deliverance to those very people. So I want you to share your story about how you met God, and I want you to share the story like Moses. Where is God sending you to rescue people in oppression? Have a great story. Love you. Appreciate it. I continue to hear great things about conversations you're happening. Appreciate you showing up, studying, and being present for this. See ya.